Welcome. Happy New Year. Y'all, I know it has been a long time. You are not seeing things. You are not imagining things. Yes, I know today is Monday. Yes, I know I am using the set for Conversations with Deborah Franklin. Yes, I know all of that. But I had to come on because I had to use this set because I needed to let you know we are back. Our first live show for the new season will be on Thursday, and I want to see you there. But first of all, it is Monday, and you know what we do on Monday. Monday is Motivational Monday. Guys, it has been such an exciting time for me. Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you that don't know, I am Deborah Franklin. I'm an author, speaker, and coach, but most of all, I am the founder and CEO of Church Girl CEO and the host of Conversations with Deborah Franklin. We come on live every Thursday. We are back live, and we will be airing our replays on on Roku. So we got more information on that later. But most of all, guys, on today, I had to jump on to say Happy New Year to everybody that I had not spoken to, had not seen a post or whatever. But I wanted to do our Monday motivation because it is January. Some of you are thinking about writing New Year's resolutions, talking about what you're going to do. You're going to lose weight. You're going to start eating right. You're going to start juicing. That's me, child. I got the juicer down there, got the stuff to juice, and I need to go put it in the machine. But you know, that's another situation. But one thing that I did want to tell you guys, hey, I'm not sure who this is, but make sure y'all are giving us permission so we can see your names, because I like talking to the people while we are live. Now, one thing that I wanted to say is that we can make all of these resolutions, we can do all these things, and we can say all of this, and we'll say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do it. Tomorrow I'm going to show up. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. Y'all, have y'all ever heard, I think it was Commission, your tomorrow very well may be today. I can't think of the name of the song, but Tomorrow, that's the name of the song. Y'all, sometimes we got to take the bull by the horn and know that our tomorrow needs to be today. If you are saying that you're going to start your business, or I'm going to do it tomorrow. No, don't do it tomorrow. Do it today. You can get your EIN number 24 hours a day. And I'm just saying these little things. Start today. Stop putting things off, because you're going to look up and it's going to be this time next year and you still have not started. One thing that I can testify on, guys, and those of you that know me for real, you know when God gives me a vision, I move on it. And sometimes I had to slow myself down because I was moving too fast. I was getting frustrated. And God said, I did have to pace myself. There's a difference in pacing than it is putting it off. I'm gonna say that again. There's a difference in pacing yourself than putting it off. There are some things you cannot wait to do. There are some things you cannot wait to start. There are some people you can't wait to apologize to. I have friends that have been losing loved ones left and right. We have lost loved ones through whether it's through COVID or whether it's through regular natural diseases. We are losing people. You have got to take that bull by the horns and just get started. Stop saying, oh, I'm going to start this relationship with this person tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to make this phone call tomorrow. Now, I get saying, oh, today, Monday, they might not be in the office today. There's a difference in being practical and saying tomorrow. But if you can't keep saying tomorrow this, tomorrow that, no, today is your day to launch out into the deep. What did Peter have said? Oh, I'll walk on the water tomorrow. Who said Jesus was going to be there the next day to even have the storm? Who's to say that you will be in that same place where you are or where you're going and be able to do it? Who's to say that that the water is going to be trouble? You got to stop being like the man by the pool. Y'all, the water is trouble. Jump in. Stop waiting for a handout. Stop waiting for somebody to help you out. Because the crazy part, he laid there for so long. But the other piece, now this is the part that we hardly ever talk about. Now, what was strategic about the man at the pool is that even though he was waiting for somebody, even though he never still made it into the pool, but he had sense enough to when Jesus came and asked him what he needed, he said he wanted to be healed and he wanted to see, and that's what happened. So the thing is, You might be waiting, but do you know what you want and why you're waiting? Do you know your purpose? Do you know what you've been called to? Do you know what you're anointed to do? Do you know what you're walking into? And I shared this in Church Girl CEO last week. We were talking about Christmas, we were talking about Rudolph. Y'all, it's time for you to embrace your difference. Remember, Rudolph had the red nose, but see, the problem is he couldn't embrace it. He kept covering it up with the mud. He kept covering it up because they wouldn't let him play the reindeer games. They wouldn't let him do what he was called to do. They wouldn't let him do what he was gifted to do. But he also listened to them. And at some point, he had that one person that is encouraging him. Now, you got to find your dollar. You got to find somebody that's going to encourage you to walk in what God has called you to do. You have got to find that person that is going to be able to pat you on the back and be your cheerleader. Because when you got that one person that can just push you, give you that word of encouragement. But on the flip side of that, he had to start to realize that he could do it himself. And so then you got to start to speak over yourself and encourage yourself to move to that next level. You have got to speak to yourself and encourage yourself to take that next step. You have got to speak to yourself in order to go to that next level and do what God has called you to do. And I sit back and I think, if I had waited to do all that we have done for Church Girl CEO and for Conversations, I would not be sitting here today. I would not be talking to you today. God said, form a group for women to be able to come on and share about their businesses, about what they're going through for a safe place. That was Church Girl CEO. God blessed us to be able to form Church Girl CEO. We have over almost 300 members in our group. That may not sound like a lot to some people, but we did that in less than a year. We've had our first conference. We went on our first mission trip. We're getting ready to do our next mission trip. We did the 21-day prayer challenge. And when I tell you that 21-day prayer challenge was fire the first time, baby, it was explosive the second time. And it's like God keeps telling us what to do and we keep walking in it. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this to do whatever, but I'm telling you, you cannot sit on what God has called you to do. Even with Church Girl, I can't even tell y'all, Church Girl CEO, this year we're getting ready to go on missions. We are already we're gonna be a nonprofit. So that means any donations that people are giving, they're gonna be able to write it off as a tax deduction. Now, what if I hadn't listened to God? What if I hadn't did what God had told me to do? This is what I'm telling you. Sometimes you got to hear, and has it been easy? Absolutely not. Have I messed up some stuff? Listen what I tell you. But I could not sit back and not do it, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but you have got to start to operate in what God has called you to do. You have got to start listening to the scriptures and making them your own. You have got to start making those things personal, and you have to make them personal. You have to make them intentional in order for you to go forward, because when you make it personal and you make it intentional, just like when we were going through the prayer of Jabez, start putting your name in this. You have got to start being what God has called you to do. Yes, this year's mission trip is phenomenal. Absolutely. When I tell you this year mission trip, we are going to Nairobi, Kenya. We have already gotten our partnerships together. We're going to be working with an orphanage. When I tell you God, yes, God is good. He is, oh my God, thank you. But God is using all of us. And we cannot, and I've said this before. Now, is it lonely the way that I did what I did? Absolutely. Do I feel like I'm fighting a fight in a ring by myself? Absolutely. Because a lot of times people say, well, why didn't you go on this platform? You know this person, you know that person. Why didn't you do this? I said, you know what? God didn't call me to that. God said, create your own platform. And I said that for somebody that's been waiting for somebody to give you the opportunity. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you the opportunity. You have got to create your own platform. Let your voice be heard. Because if I cannot motivate you in nothing else, it is time for you to do it. This year is your year to show up. Yes, personal and intentional. This is your year to show up and show out and do what you have been called to do. Now, I had said this, was chatting with someone, and they said we were talking about the pandemic and we might be getting shut down again and we might have to go through some things again. Guess what? That means God wasn't through with you the first time. That means God needs you to go back into that cave just for a little while. You ain't got to stay in the cave a long time this time. See, this time, the first time was you to get yourself together. This time is for you to get everything where you need it to be to execute what he's going to tell you to execute once you come out. And that's where I see us going, y'all. It is our time for not only manifestation, but for execution. You have got to execute. You have got to catapult what God is telling you to do to move out into the deep. And don't be scared. Now, are you going to be a little shaky? Absolutely. Are you going to be talking about, ooh? Sure enough. But not this, but you know that you have the confidence in knowing that God has told you to do it and you are supposed to show up. And another thing that I want to tell you, start thinking about Noah when he was building the ark. God gave him all the instructions. He gave him the instructions. God's giving you the instructions, but the problem is you listen to all the people telling you that it's not going to rain. You listen to all the people that are saying that you're not qualified for this. You listen to all the people that are saying, your pedigree's not right. You listen to all the people saying that, oh, you too old. You over 50. You listen to the people saying, oh, you too young. If God has called you to it, he's going to see you through it. And I know that that's a cliche, but you have got to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that that's what you have been called to do. And when God gives you that vision, he is going to give you provision because you have got to step out into the deep and do it. Stop letting the people around you. Because again, think about if he had not listened, he would have never built the ark. Or because they kept saying, it's not going to rain. Oh, it's just sprinkling. Okay, that's fine. Let it sprinkle. Let it drizzle. I don't give a flying flip because at the end of the day, when the storm comes, when the rain goes, you're going to be stuck outside because eventually God is going to tell you, get on your ark, slam the door. Those that didn't support you when they should have are not going to be able to support you. And see, right now, you're probably going through a season. Some of you are going through a season where you're beginning to see people for who they really are. And God is finally letting you see it because they cannot go where you are going. They cannot be in your sphere. They cannot be there to pull you back, to suck on you, to bleed you like a leech. They cannot be who be there in that space because they've been in that space too long. Now you're seeing they're not supported. They just there to see what you're doing. They just there to gossip about you. They just there to lie to you. They're just there to discourage you. They're just there to pull you down. They're just there to make your mind go into a spin. Look at what God is taking away from you. Yes, but don't dwell on it. Because when God starts to delete, he deletes for real. And once he deletes, now it's time for you to walk straight in what he's called you to do. Because some of y'all are seeing the deletions, but you're also seeing the additions. You might not be where you want to be financially. You might not be where you want to be in your relationship, but you are seeing where God is showing you a brighter light that you're supposed to go in. You are seeing a brighter light. You are seeing a brighter future. You are seeing things differently. Because let's go back to my Rudolph analogy. When he realized that he was called to this and that he was destined for this, he took off what was covering his uniqueness. Some of you have been hiding behind what people have told you what you couldn't do too long. It's time for you to step out in front because you have been chosen to do what he has called you to do. You have been chosen for this because when it's your season, God is going to start opening doors for you that are not going to make sense to you. You're going to be like, but then after a minute, you're going to be like, okay, got it. So don't get depressed by the things that are happening around you. Don't get discouraged. Walk in it. Show up in it. Do what God has called you to do because you are getting ready to walk into another level. And if you can get nothing else from this motivational moment, is that it is your time to shine like Rudolph. And you're going to be the shining light through every storm For the people that were your naysayers, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, how's she doing this? How he doing this? Because God called you to it. And now you're getting ready to operate and walk in it. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's motivational moment. Make sure if you got any questions or concerns, drop them below. We want to hear from you. But I know you're like, what's she talking about missions? Can I go? Absolutely. This year, our mission trip will be open to those that would like to attend. Summer mission trip will be to Nairobi, Kenya, June 26th through July 8th. July 8th. We will be hosting an informational meeting on January 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. So if you let me know that you would like to attend, just drop me below or respond to the email. But I will be sending the link out and I will be posting it because it'll be open. We have limited space, of course, but I definitely want to see you there. Y'all, I'm so excited about this trip. Um, will I receive all that? Oh, thank you. God bless you, Angel. Good to see you tonight. Oh my God. Hey, Tina. God bless you. Haven't seen you in a while. We definitely need to chat and catch up. Y'all, God is doing a new thing. For those of you who've been thinking about, oh, should I go on missions? Absolutely. Let me tell you, going on missions with this crew is not like old school. We're not sleeping in no tents. We're not building anything. We're going to help and to assist and to serve. We have a lot of good things that are planned for this trip. Again, it is, so don't be afraid. It will definitely be informational. We will have a lot of things going on. And I'm just so excited about what we're doing because God is truly blessing us like never before. Well, all right, guys. I love you to life and ain't nothing you can do about it. And I pray that you see that the uniqueness that God has put on you and that you are able to walk forward and do what God has called you to do and be who he has called you to be. I look forward to seeing you. Hope to see you on the mission trip. If nothing else, have a great one. Peace.